Okay, this demo's on something called the American Fact Finder. You can see it on this page here. You can get to it actually by going to the Census main page. But here's another way you can just get to American Fact Finder. Here in Google, type in American Fact Finder, and there it's going to appear. Click on that link, and American Fact Finder is going to pop up. American Fact Finder is a step above, a significant step above the censusreporter.org. And this is very useful. So there's our American Fact Finder page. But again, you know, the census can give you really, really fine levels of detail. American Fact Finder doesn't go all the way there, but this is super useful for people doing policy analysis. If you just want to get a feel for some really interesting data that's resident, again, on the census. So here we are at American Fact Finder. Let's click on Advanced Search. You can also, exploring, click on Guided Search, and you can click on Community Facts. Community Facts is going to give you, like you typed in Omaha, Nebraska, you could find out a lot of detail on Omaha, Nebraska from Community Facts. But in the interest of time, let's go to Advanced Search, and I want to show you the search engine here. So let's go to Advanced Search, and then here's our little arrow. Click on Show Me All. So here's what's going to pop up here. This is really a search engine inside the census. And this will help us go through a lot of topics on population, income, geographies, and other things that are really interesting to us. So for example, let's say we want to talk about population. So let's click on topics. That's going to be under people. So let's click the plus there. And then you see we have all these categories here. So population is going to be on basic count and estimate. And you can see it's loading up. So civilian population, group quarters population, household family, overseas, population change, population in housing units. Let's go to population total because we want to know about that. So here's what happens here. We're going to close that window, and it's going to give us a chance to look at maybe, again, some frequently asked questions, some kinds of things that are typically asked. And again, you can see down here, there's pages and pages of them. But let's say we want to know about total population. Pretty simple. So this again is from the 2015 ACS. Now, again, I talked about ACS in the previous demo, the American Community Survey. There are 1-year estimates and 5-year estimates. So the 5-year estimates end up being a little more accurate because they're adjusted every year. So let's take the 5-year estimate of total population. Okay, so here's what happens. So here's the United States. This is the 2015 ACS population of the United States is 316.5 million people. Over here, we could actually go to a different year. Let's say we want to go to 2010. And it was 303.9 million people. Okay, well, that doesn't tell us a whole heck of a lot of detail, right? So let's go up here to add and remove geographies. So click on that. Now let's click on the United States, highlight it there and add it to our selection. So now we've added the United States. Now let's add states. And now we could, if we wanted, add all states or one state. So let's, for starters, let's add Nebraska because we're curious about Nebraska. Add it to our selection, and then let's go. So here's our geographic selections right here. Let's hit Show Table. And this should have given, let me go back to Add Geographies. Hold on. Let me go back to Add Geographies. And let's see what happens here. Let me add all the states. For some reason, it didn't give us all the states. So now, in addition to the United States, it gives us every state in the 2015 ACS. So here we could compare state to state, and we could do it in different years. Okay, so let's go back to the advanced search. Again, let's start a new search. So we'll click there that says clear all selections. We're still interested in population, so let's go to people. So instead of, let's go to basic count again. And let's go to population total again. Well, let's look at some of the other tables that are available to us. So there are some estimates from ACS that are available. Let's go to this one that says comparative demographic estimates. And here we see for the United States, again, the estimated population using the ACS for that time period and that time period, broken down by male and female, and broken down by these age cohort demographics, broken down by gender, broken down by race in the United States. So now we're starting to see some differences that might be important to our study. And here again, we could add geographies. So we'll say United States, add that to our selections. And then let's say states and add that to our selections. Let's show table. Now we're going to have for the United States and for Alabama. Now, why am I talking about population? Okay, here's something really, really important for you as you do any kind of project. All the population numbers, in fact, any number in the census, are going to be slightly different. The ACS numbers are going to be different than the biennial census numbers. It's not necessarily a really big deal, but the important thing for you when you're constructing a paper is to make sure you're using the same table. So if you're using this ACS data for population, don't commingle it with other population data, for example, from the biennial census. So that frustrates some people, but it's not just a number is a number is a number. So let's clear our selections. I want to show you a couple other things you might be able to find on the American Fact Finder. So let's go to topics again. And let's go to housing. So we can talk about basic count again on housing. So we can talk about housing units. Close that. And again, a lot of sort of frequently used reports will pop up for the United States. So total population and occupied housing by tenure. This is from the ACS 5-year estimates. So what you're going to see on this, here in the United States, here again is the population of the United States, the number of people that live in owner-occupied housing, the number of people that live in renter-occupied housing. Now, this might be important for you if you're studying a policy that has to do with, say, encouraging more home ownership, and you want to go back and understand home ownership in the United States. These kinds of numbers can be very helpful to you. So the American Fact Finder is super informative and a great tool to use. And really, once again, I just wanted to show you where it was, because you really need to explore the American Fact Finder, because it can be very, very helpful for the kinds of reports that you need. actually, I'm not even sure what's in a lot of these areas. Um, here's in race and ethnic groups, it talks about the population by race and ethnic groups. This is from the Census of Business, I think, on industry codes. And this is, I think, from employment. So the point is that the American Fact Finder is a great place to start for more detailed levels of data. So I think I'll end it here, and the next one is on the census of governments. Thanks.